Welcome back to every NES game. This is Contra Force. This is, I guess, not quite a sequel to Contra. This is more like a spin-off, I guess. In this spin-off, we can choose from one of 4 characters, which honestly makes me reminds me of a Metal Slug more than anything. But like, weirdly, using the arrow keys doesn't make your thing go to the thing you'd expect it to on that menu. But anyway, onto the gameplay itself, we're with Burns! Sadly, he doesn't have a flamethrower. Maybe that would be too obvious. Yeah, it's very much like Contra, but it also is just different enough. I'm not sure exactly why that is, whether they just decided to go with a slightly different style, or specifically because of any criticism or ideas because of the original Contra. But this one isn't about the respawn enemies and such. You just have the enemies that appear that you have to deal with them. It's difficult to not get hurt by him. And yeah, it is once again like one hit is a kill. So you have to be careful. But it actually does feel a bit different. This obstacle is straight out of Castlevania. These crushers. Which is weird because they make more sense in a modern setting. And I died. Also, I swear the composer of this must have done the music for one of the Castlevanias. Because it reminds me more of that than the Contra music. Though they're both Konami. So yeah, that's why I assumed that. There are a bunch of areas in the walls or ceiling that you can destroy. That menu will come into play later. Now try to be careful. Jump into that or those spikes down there, I presume, kill you. But the way it moves is kind of erratic. Speaking of which, you need to get the timing of this right, or you could just not care. Yeah, also the weird thing is that the screen doesn't scroll while you're in invincibility frames. So after you die and respawn, you have to wait a few seconds if you want to move forward. I don't think I've ever seen that in a game, honestly. Yeah, but be careful. Thankfully, the boxes don't spawn from that thing while there's another box on screen. Yeah, this is one of those NES games that's being just a bit generous. I appreciate that instead of, being entirely unfair or annoying. Though that is an exception. That's a bit unfair. Just a bit. I do love the intro to this music, by the way. Thing is, like, despite Contra being a popular enough series, like, I actually went into this game knowing nothing about it. So this has been an interesting experience. Okay, now that we're back here, let's try to be a bit more careful. Because there should be an enemy down there. Jump! There we go. See, that wasn't so bad. Yeah, you can tell there's some barrels down there. After we hit that, they both fall down. Physics! I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I do really like how you can just destroy random bits of, like, the ceiling and walls. Though that comes into play to this. First time I saw this, I was like, okay, the fan's obviously gonna push you up. So I need to just be very careful when jumping from one to the other so I don't jump into the spikes in the ceiling like that. Okay, that works. That wasn't how I planned to do it, and that's obviously a mine. Destroyed. Yeah. Gotta be careful like that. So the idea is, like, you don't want to shoot it. You instead... Well, I got lucky, but instead you want to just let it drop down below you, so that's still on screen so that another one won't spawn and kill you. That's a bit clever, though I'm not sure if intentionally. Like, this game is actually mostly really fun. I just don't like the slowdown. The slowdown's really bad. Like, if there's too much things happening at once, even if it's not actually that much, it'll just slow down, and it just, takes away from it, and that's a real shame. Because otherwise, this game's really solid. It's like 2 for 2 for Contra, honestly. There's a reason the game has a good reputation. At this point, we've gotten upgrades, you might have noticed. And it's unlike the ones in the original Contra, which give you dramatically different guns depending on which thing you get at the time. These just give you, like, small, low upgrades that make subtly a noticeable difference. But unfortunately, I died stupidly. Unfortunately, we have to start at the beginning again. God damn it. Ugh. So it was around this time when I decided to take a closer look at this menu because I noticed this is not just some nothing screen. And an interesting twist that I just figured out at this point. You can change characters at any time and also not only make a different character player 2, but have to give them different strategies to help you as the as CPU. So I just changed characters and had extra lives. Okay, let's put Burns as a CPU. You know, try to help me. See what he does. Give them some different strategies to try to help you. That's interesting. Though the CPU thing apparently doesn't last long. As far as I can tell, each of these guys have a slightly different style weapon. honestly, this one seems better. Or maybe it's just the sound effects making it seem that way. So the main thing about this is that instead of using the fans, you can also just destroy them, so you can just jump normally. Which does make things a lot easier. So yeah, this does make the game much easier. Yeah, I'd say this makes the game easier. Now that we have multiple characters and we don't just have 3 lives. Because like Contra itself, going to this game just immediately with the normal amount of lives is probably not ideal to actually get good at it. It's just annoying. So instead, let's take advantage of all the lives we can get. Though I didn't check if you could also put in the Konami code for this. That'd be ridiculous. All of them have 30 lives. You could never lose this game. Also, thank God for diagonal shooting. Makes things so much easier. Going from all those games where you have a stupid tiny projectile weapon to one where you can shoot in 8 different directions is crazy. The difference is huge. Anyway, I believe we should be right at the boss. Which is this big general dude. Now I could try to use some sort of strategy, but I'm also just gonna try to shoot him to death. Okay, let's switch to a different character now. Iron. Okay, you and your red nose can help. And a parent rocket launcher that has bullets that aren't any different from any of the other weapons, really. He should be close to dead. There we go. The thing is that I had another chance to fight him. It seems reasonable I could beat him with, like, actual strategy. That's not me bragging, that's just pointing out that the game design is actually decent for that boss. Or as far as I could tell, it was. Well then I am going to leave. Why should anyone listen to you? And another surprising twist, especially since I was told this was a side game, they actually have these top-down levels, kind of similar to how the first Contra did, but actually more complete top-down levels, honestly. So that's kind of interesting. Because in Contra, the top-down levels are just you on a single screen, and then when you beat the bad guys and destroy the entrance to the next area, you just move forward until you have another screen of guys in front of you to shoot. This is like a full level, where you can move around and whatever. That's really cool. So yeah, I'd say this whole thing has been a pretty positive experience. Good game. Very good game, even. One of those I'd actually be interested in trying again.